today we're going to start learning our unit on ratios and rates. Okay, this can be a very, very easy unit if you do exactly what I say and if you read the questions very carefully. Or you can get it all mixed up because you're not reading carefully, okay? So just be super careful. You did learn about ratios and rates in 6th grade, yes?
Yeah, I think so.
But we're going to start like we're going to pretend you didn't learn it just to start over, just to start from scratch, okay? So a ratio, write this down. A ratio is a comparison of two quantities. It will always be two. They can be part to part, part to whole, or whole to part. We are probably going to use this one the most and this one the second. I don't really think we ever really do whole to part. So, for example, if I asked for the ratio of girls to boys in this classroom, I would count the girls, I would count the boys, yes? So pretend, and I'm going to make this up because I don't feel like counting how many y'all are. Pretend, we're pretending. Pretend there's 12 girls and 13 boys.
There's 12 boys.
Pretend. If I do girls to boys, that's part to part. I'm teaching. Okay? My ratio would be 12 to 13 or 12 over 13. Are y'all good? There's multiple ways to write a ratio. Now, when we solve with them, it's always going to be written as a fraction. But if I wanted to write this as part to whole, I wouldn't do girls to boys. I would do girls to total students, and then I would have a whole separate ratio of boys to total students. Does that make sense? So if I wanted to do part per whole, let's say I want girls to total. How many girls are there? How many total are there? 25. I could also do a part per whole for boys to total. So boys would be 13 to
25.
Now, how do I know which ratio to use? From the question. Does that make sense?
Read it carefully.
You have to read these questions carefully because they might say there's 12 girls to 13 boys in Miss Castro's class. If there was 60 kids total, how many girls would there be? Well, I would use girls to total, and then I would solve with it, which I'm going to teach y'all how to do in a minute. Make sense? I have to figure out which ratio to pull just from that information. Okay. Now, they also might give you a tape diagram that looks like this. Does everybody see a tape diagram?
Yes.
It is just like a segment that shows the relationship, so you would just count and write it. So what would this, don't read this right now. Pretend that's not there. A ratio of 3 to 4. So 3 what? Light?
3 light.
To 4 what?
Dark.
Dark. Well, what if I wanted to write this as light to total?
Light. 3.
3 light to what?
7 total.
7 total. How did we get the total?
By
Added them up. Are y'all good? What if I wanted to write a ratio for dark to total? 4 dark to what? 7 total. Now, today on your assignment, you're only going to be doing that kind of stuff. You're going to write the ratios. Later in this unit, maybe tomorrow, we're going to be solving with ratios. Question? Okay. I'm going to give you a brief inside look into what it looks like to solve with ratios. You're not going to do this on your assignment today. To solve with a ratio, they're going to ask you a question. And I'm going to make the question up. Okay? They're going to say something like, based on these ratios, if there was 21 total, how many light would there be? So I'm going to say it again. based on these ratios, if there was 21 total, how many light would there be? Which one of these ratios would I want to use? This one. Why? Because I said light and I said total. So the way you would solve these, number one, is you would label very clearly. You would put light over total. If you don't label, you will mess up. And you would use this ratio, 3/7. And you would set it up equal to what you're solving for. Well, we're solving for 21 total. Is total on the top or the bottom? So 21, since it's a total, would go on the bottom. And then you would solve this by looking for the pattern. How can I get from 7 to 21? Times 3. So if I multiply 3 times 3, what would I get? And so my answer would be, if there was 21 total based on this ratio, there would be 9 light strips. Does that make sense? Again, we're not going to solve with them today, okay? Now, the cool thing about ratios is they're really just fractions that you can simplify. Does 9 over 21 simplify to 3/7? Yes. Okay. Over here, let's talk about a ratio can be written as A dot dot B, A over B, or A to B. These are really probably the ways you'll see it more, but when we solve with it, you'll always write it as a fraction. All right, let's go make ratios. This is more like what your assignment looks like today. I want a ratio for triangles to circles. How many triangles are there?
3.
3. How many circles are there? 4. So I could write 3.4 or 3/4. Now, how do I know that the 3 had to come first?
Because that's how it was said.
Triangles was said first, so the number for triangles has to be first or on top of the fraction. Got it? All right, let's do this one. Circles to squares. Well, how many circles are there?
4.
4. How many squares are there? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So I could write 4.5, or I could write 4/5. All right, what about squares to triangles?
1, 2, 3, 4.
Squares is 5. How many triangles are there?
3.
3. So how would I write this as a fraction? 5/3.
5. There's only 4.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5. All right. Now we're going to do a problem where we get to solve. Again, we're not doing this on our assignment today, but we're going to start practicing. This is what it might look like on your STAR test, okay? You have a total of 35 marbles. The ratio of marbles that are solid to pattern is 5:2. So they just gave us a ratio. Does that mean that is the ratio we're going to use to solve our problem? No. They gave us solid to what? Pattern. So I'm going to go write it down. They gave me solid over pattern. And solid was 5 and pattern was 2. That's part over part, yes? Did they give me a total at all?
Yes.
No, they said, I have a total, but they didn't give me a total in my ratio, 5:2. Okay. How many of each marble do you have? Well, I'm going to have 2 problems because I need to solve for solid and I need to solve for pattern, not pattern. Okay. I need to make a ratio of solid to what? Total. Who said that? Very good. Why total? Because it wants to know how many of each marble I have if I have a
Total.
Okay, so I've got to manipulate this ratio. Okay? I need solid. Well, I know I have 5. Now, in this ratio, How many total do I have? I have 7. Why? Because I have 5 solid and I have? That means there are 7. In that ratio, there are 7 total. Does that make sense? You will have to manipulate the ratios. I want to solve for solid if I have a total of,
35.
so where would 35 go, at the top or the bottom? Because why? Total's at the, and then I look for a pattern. 7 times what is 35?
5.
So 5 times 5 is, I would have 25 solid marbles. Now I need to solve for pattern marbles. So I need to manipulate the ratio again. I need to do pattern over total. How many pattern were there in my ratio? How many total are there in my ratio? 7. But I want to know how many pattern would there be if I have a total of 35 marbles. Okay, 7 times 5 is 35, so 2 times 5 is 10. So how many patterned marbles would I have? 10 patterned marbles. So do y'all see how we're going to be solving with them? Okay, again, we're not going to do that today. All right, flip to the back. Let's talk about some vocabulary. Equal ratios, write that down. Equal ratios are when 2 ratios describe the same relationship. For example, they're the same thing as equal fractions. So everybody look. 2/4 is equal to, are those equal fractions? Then they're equal ratios. Ratios are fractions. It's just another word for it. Yes? That's what we're talking about is equal ratios. All right. A ratio table is used to find and organize equivalent ratios. So basically, if I had a table and I had 1/2 as my first ratio and I wanted to expand it, I could multiply by 2 and get 2/4. I can multiply by 2 again and get, this is a ratio table of equivalent ratios. Does that make sense? I can multiply by 3. What's 4 times 3? What's 8 times 3? 24. And are all of these equivalent ratios? Then this is a ratio table. They are all the same ratio in expanded or simplified form. All right. Right here, it says you can find equivalent ratios by adding or subtracting or multiplying or dividing the same number. 9 times out of 10, it's going to be multiplying or dividing, especially in this class, okay? Over here, it tells you how to do it. Now, I just showed y'all how. You just expand it. This right here is a hint. Not all ratio tables will just multiply by 2 and keep going. So you might have to simplify the first ratio to figure out how to get to the next ratio. For example, if I had given you this ratio table, but I had started with 4/8, could I go backwards to 1/2 to see what was going on? Okay, so I want y'all to look at these ratio tables. If I have 2 markers, I will have 4 crayons. That's my ratio. They want to know how many markers would I have for 6 crayons. Well, to get from 4 to 6 is hard. I don't want to figure that out. So could I just simplify 2/4?
Yes.
What is 2/4 simplified? So divide by 2 is 1, divide by 2 is 2. Now would it be easy to get to the 6? 2 times what is 6? 3. So 1 times 3 is 3. Do y'all see what I was saying by on this hint? You may have to add on to the table. Did I add this on to the table? Yes. Okay. can I get from 3 to 12?
Multiply that 4.
By 4. So 6 times 4 is 24. Could I have added more in here? Yes, but it didn't ask me to. All right, this one's easy because they already gave it to you simplified. If I have two DVDs, I have 3 games. How would I get from 3 to 12?
4
Times 4, so 2 times 4 is... How would I get from 8 to 16? So 12 times 2 is 24. How would I get from 24 to 48? So 16 times 2 is 32. Now we're going to do another example that could be on the STAR test. You are going to have to figure out, am I doing part per part or part per whole? So let's read the question. For every 3 cookies you decorate, your friend decorates 2 cookies. So I'm talking about cookies for both of them, yes? But one is for you and one is for your friend. So let's go make our ratio based off of what they gave us. They gave us you to your friend. All right, so which number is for you? 3. Which number is for your friend? 2. Now, when I first glanced, I thought I was going to need part per whole because I saw this word. I saw that and I thought, ooh, I need to turn it into a total, but read it. It says, if you decorate 15 total cookies. So is that really a total for me and my friend, or is that just you? That's a total for you. So all we care about is you, and then look at the question. How many has your friend? So am I going to change and manipulate this, or am I going to keep it you and your friend? Keep it you and your friend. So I set it equal. Now I got to decide, does the 15 go on top or bottom? Well, does 15 belong to you or your friend?
You.
So where does 15 go? Top.
Times 5.
So how do you get from 3 to 15?
5.
So 2 times 5 is 10. And so I would answer, my friend, my spelling is not it today, decorated 10 cookies. Again, you're not having to solve them today. You're just going to write the ratios. So let's do the first one together. It wants you to write the ratio of pentagons to triangles. So you will have to count the pentagons. That number will go first, and then triangles will go second. Yes? I don't care if your answer is written like this or like this. They're the same answer. Whichever way you want to do it. Now flip to the back. I want to talk to y'all about these because you might mess up on these. Look at number 2. And yes, you're going to do the example on your own. So it's part of your assignment, okay? I'm going to do number 2 with you because they tried to trick you. They said for every 5 PS3 games Robin owned, she had 8 Wii games. If you go put the answer is 5 to 8, it's wrong. Because you have to read the question. And the question says, what is her ratio of Wii games to PS3? So what number has to go first? 8. Now, because they didn't give you much space over here, I personally wouldn't do a fraction. I would do 8 to 5. So please, please, please read the way it's asking for you to write the ratio. Don't just write it in the order it gives it to you. Make sense? Okay, get started.